Hi, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Warm welcome to today's webinar. We're going to be getting underway in just a couple of minutes. We'll just wait for a few more people to come in and then we'll get underway. Thank you. A few people coming in now. Okay, I think we'll get underway. So a very good morning, good afternoon, everybody. A very warm welcome to our first webinar of 2025. A very happy new year to you all. I'm delighted to welcome today Valerie Sorenson from Prism, who'll be doing our first session, starting 2025 with future-proof strategies to optimize event management. Now, before I hand over to Vanessa, I'd like to do the usual housekeeping. For those who haven't joined a webinar before, you will notice we have put you all on mute. And that's one, because we're recording it, but also can we encourage you to use your chat boxes at the bottom of your screens for any questions. Vanessa is going to be taking questions at the end of the webinar, so please pop those questions in the chat box so we can field those to Vanessa at the end. As I say, we do record today's session. I will forward that to you all afterwards. And also, along with all our webinars, it will be available on the IAC YouTube channel. Now, it gives me great pleasure to hand over today to our presenter today, Vanessa Sorenson, who's the Director of Product Marketing at Prism. Thanks, Vanessa.
Thank you so much, Kate, and thank you, IAC, for having us today. And of course, thanks everyone for joining. As Kate said, I'm really excited to chat through a few ways that you can think about building your 2025 event management strategies. But Kate said, I'm Vanessa Sorenson, Director of Product Marketing here at Prism. Some of you may have heard of us. Some of you may know us as All Seated. We actually went through a rebrand about this time last year, but we were previously known as All Seated, but we're known as Prism today. And Prism is the same company with the same team, but we just have that new name. For those of you who are not familiar with what we do at Prism, we're a global leader in spatial design and event planning technology, trusted by over 5,000 organizations across the globe. Our goal is to help event management professionals rethink how they showcase, design, and collaborate on their event spaces, whether they own their own venue or they're designing an event within one. It's all about delivering those unforgettable experiences for your clients. So how do we do that? We imagine that your clients are exploring a dynamic 3D virtual tour of your venue directly on your website. No need for a time-consuming in-person walkthrough. They can see the space, get inspired, and fall in love with your designs, all from the comfort of their home or office. You can fully customize these tours with your own branding, so your own logos to playable videos within the tour, and even tweak room layouts on the spot. So say someone's not happy with how a chair looks. You can change that in real time, in the moment, and you can see that in that second GIF there. But we don't stop there. And as some of you may know, Prism, and formerly All Seated, also helps you create detailed, accurate 2D and 3D floor plans with intuitive tools to drag, drop, and automate your planning workflows. It's all about working smarter so you can focus less on logistics and more about building those amazing client events. But with that, we'll move to our agenda today. So first, we'll start with the current landscape, an overview of where the industry stands today and the key trends shaping event management right now. Then we'll go ahead and look at what's ahead in 2025, diving into the emerging trends and innovations that are set to transform how we plan, design, and deliver events in the near future. And then finally, we'll have 5 future-proofing strategies for you to consider to help offer actionable insights that you can use to stay competitive, efficient, and client-focused in the year to come. And as Kate mentioned, we'll wrap up with a Q&A session where you'll have the chance to ask questions and we could dive a little bit deeper into any of the topics we've covered today. So with that, let's get started. All right, so some challenges in 2024. 2024 has been a tough year for event managers and really a lot of people, with guest expectations at an all-time high, attendees demanding more personalized and memorable experiences than ever before. At the same time, inflation has made everything more expensive. 65% of organizers had to raise their prices and find new revenue streams just to keep up with the rising costs of goods, services, and wages. And let's talk about keeping up with the pace of technology. It's evolving so fast. It feels like there's always a new tool to learn or to invest in, but many teams are struggling to keep up. Deciding where to allocate your budget and ensuring your new technology integrates smoothly with your existing systems is no small task. And on top of that, event managers are feeling the pressure to track and measure success through metrics like attendance, engagement, ROI, NPS, the list goes on and on and on. And then to pile on top of everything else, there's compliance. So you need to keep up with GDPR. For those of you in Europe, also CSRD, data protection protocols, cybersecurity, health and safety requirements. All of that has added another layer of complexity. And these aren't just boxes to check. They're essential for maintaining trust with attendees so they can run smooth, successful events. These challenges have been real, but they've also forced the industry to innovate and adapt in ways that will define the future of event management. So what's ahead in 2025? All right, so it's no surprise that AI and data are taking center stage as we head into the new year. But what really matters is how we use them. AI-powered tools are helping planners personalize every aspect of the attendee experience, from customized agendas to networking suggestions and booth recommendations, all based on individual interests. And it's not just about looking cool and using AI. 72% of event planners who used AI-driven personalization saw a 20% jump in attendee engagement. It's about making every guest feel like the event was designed just for them. Another trend we're seeing is sustainability as a core strategy. Sustainability isn't just a buzzword anymore. It's really the standard. With climate awareness growing, evolving regulations, and stakeholder expectations on the rise, going green is a must for every event organizer. This could mean choosing an eco-certified venue, reducing your waste, or prioritizing renewable energy. And in fact, 40% of planners say sustainability is one of their biggest challenges. But here's the thing, those who embrace sustainable practices aren't just doing the right thing, they're saving money in the long run and building trust with their audiences. A third trend for what's coming in 2025 is staying ahead with compliance. As I mentioned, it's still a big deal, and 2025 will be no exception. But the upside is embedding compliance into your event design, like maybe doing secure digital check-ins or respecting the privacy preferences of your guests, not only keeps you ahead of the curve, but enhances that guest experience. With 68% of planners ranking compliance as a top priority, it's clear that following the rules isn't just about avoiding risks, it's about building trust. A fourth trend coming in 2025 is getting smarter with data. So data has always been around. It's always been a big deal. And in 2025, it's more of the same. From understanding the attendance patterns to tracking session engagement, the insights the data provides are what are really driving your smarter decisions. Planners and marketers are using these insights to fine-tune strategies, personalize experiences, and prove ROI to stakeholders. And here's a great stat that events that lean into using advanced analytics report a 25% boost in attendee retention year over year. So it's not just about collecting all this data, it's about turning it to action and making your events better and drive repeat business. And finally, the fifth trend in 2025, hopefully isn't a shock to anybody either, but having immersive experiences for better human connection. So think augmented reality, creative stage designs, or curated network opportunities. These are key to making real human connections. It's about capturing your audience's attention in the moment and leaving them with a lasting impression. And it really works. 80% of attendees say that they're more likely to recommend events with engaging, immersive elements. At the end of the day, it's these human connections that truly make events memorable. So moving into 2025, how do you future-proof your event strategy? How can we leverage tools like AI? How can we make better use of our data or stay ahead of all these shifting regulations? In this next section, we'll share 5 actionable strategies to help future-proof your event management this year. The first point being embracing scalable technology. I love this GIF. You get an event and you get an event. Okay, maybe it's not a car like this GIF is making fun of, but it's very real. With travel back in full swing, the surge of events can feel overwhelming to manage. Keeping everything organized while maintaining quality is no small task. That's why it's more important than ever to adopt technologies that scale and grow with you so you can handle more events with confidence. But to embrace scalable technology, event managers need to focus on three game-changing strategies: growing smarter, automating seamlessly, and tracking metrics that matter. To start, grow smarter, not harder. As events get more complex, using a bunch of disconnected platforms can quickly turn into a headache. The future of event management is all about integrated technology that works well together. Imagine using one platform that handles everything: ticket sales, attendee management, CRM, and marketing tools without the chaos of switching between systems. Consolidating tools like this saves time, reduces your errors, and gives both your team and attendees a smoother experience. Growing smarter means spending less time troubleshooting tech across different disparate systems and more time doing tasks that really help support your clients. Another way you can think about scaling technology is through automation, or here we have set it and forget it. So think about all those repetitive tasks that you have to do every day. Maybe it's setting up email campaigns, managing your attendees, looking at registration confirmations. They can be very time consuming, but they're obviously necessary. And this is where automation can really shine. Tools can handle everything from building event floor plans to sending post-event surveys, all without you having to lift a finger. This set it and forget it approach keeps things consistent, helps you reduce mistakes, and gives time back in your day, and lets your teams focus on what's most important for your business. And finally, focus on the metrics that matter. Instead of chasing those vanity metrics that might make you look good, focus on insights that actually help you improve your business. For example, which sessions had the highest attendance? Which marketing channels work best for you? Did the virtual tours save time compared to in-person site visits? The right tools not only gather this data, but also turn it into easy to read dashboards and reports so you can make smarter decisions every step of the way. To scale quickly, you also have to consider balancing compliance. I love this stat. Did you know that around 69% of individuals in the EU are aware of GDPR regulations? So GDPR has been around for a while, but it still highlights just how much data and privacy are still on people's minds today. For event organizers, this isn't just a regulatory checkbox. It's an opportunity to build trust with attendees by showing that you take their data seriously. And because of this, compliance is no longer about meeting those requirements. It's about creating that foundation of trust. It's about creating that foundation of safety and being able to adapt quickly to change. The first way to do that is to ensure the data that you're collecting still remains compliant. By investing in robust data security tools and processes, you can build trust with attendees while freeing your team to focus on the creative elements of your event. For instance, automating data management allows you to maintain compliance while dedicating more energy to crafting those memorable experiences. Think of it as creating a solid foundation that supports innovation, but it doesn't hinder it. Also, think about working with vendors who also do the same. They have the same checks of their systems, and they meet the same security and compliance standards that you do to help reduce the third-party risk to your organization. Secondly, make sure you streamline your safety regulations. So everybody knows that safety is the cornerstone of any successful event. You have crowd control, maybe you have vaccination status requirements, sanitation protocols. Where do people load in and load out? The list is endless. And here, technology is your best ally. Automating and tracking these processes not only ensures compliance, but also allows you to approach safety creatively. Imagine using real-time data to manage crowd flow dynamically, turning what could be a logistical nightmare into a seamless, engaging experience for your guests. Or maybe doing a run a show ahead of time in a virtual walkthrough to make sure every exit and every other requirement is accounted for before even stepping foot into a room. Technology can help us protect our guests as much as it can help with internal operational efficiencies. And finally, if there's one constant in event management, it's unpredictability. Kate and I were chatting about that just before this webinar. Things like weather happens. Maybe there's a new regulation that comes up out of nowhere. How do you prepare for that without compromising the attendee experience? Building agility into your operations requires a mindset shift, but think beyond rigid plans and embrace your flexible frameworks. For example, having modular event setups or contingency workflows ensures that you can respond effectively to the unexpected. A third way to future-proof your event management strategy is to empower and not replace your teams. I absolutely love this quote from Garry Kasparov. He's a world-renowned chess grandmaster who played against IBM's supercomputer Deep Blue in the 90s. And he really brought to the forefront the importance of artificial intelligence and the human touch. And I'll read this quote verbatim here. AI won't replace humans, but those who use AI will replace those who don't. Essentially, AI can help empower your teams with the tools to help them work smarter. They can help them innovate faster and stay ahead of the competitive landscape. And if you don't really empower your teams to do that, you'll be left in the dust. But these days, we all know it's about doing more with less, but not less with less. The first step is really breaking down those silos. Encourage collaboration by sharing insights across your team so everyone has a clear, holistic view of your event's impact. Use tools that work seamlessly across departments, making reporting transparent and building trust while uncovering those meaningful insights. Again, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about before about scaling your technology to work across those teams. Speaking of technology, people always say, oh, AI is going to replace my job. That's not true. Smartly integrating AI into your existing workflows can save time and boost efficiency for everybody on your team. So one example is using AI-driven tools to handle logistics or maybe scheduling, planning, and even personalization. For example, there's virtual assistants that can handle real-time questions about schedules or agendas. You can enhance the attendee experience without adding to your staffing costs. Or you can even use AI to personalize content. Like here at Prism, you can use AI to suggest the right kind of furniture for the type of event aesthetic that you want. It's all about working smarter with those solutions. And finally, the last one to do more with less and not less with less is tackling burnout on your teams. Prioritizing the well-being of your team starts with reducing stress and workload by streamlining and automating those processes. Automation tools like Prism can help take care of time-consuming tasks like creating event floor plans, while other tools like Bizzaboo make registration and communication seamless. Even simple scheduling tools like Calendly or Acuity can ease the pressure on your staff. By letting technology handle the repetitive work, you give your team the space to recharge and focus on what truly matters for your business without sacrificing your team's well-being. Our next point really emphasizes how sustainability is no longer just a nice to have. It's an essential part of how we plan and execute every event today. With 76% of travelers prioritizing eco-friendly accommodations, incorporating green practices into your planning is critical. Regulations like the EU's CSRD require emissions tracking and reporting, making things like reducing waste, optimizing energy use, and offering sustainable options align with audience values and regulatory requirements more important than ever. And one way we like to think about sustainability here at Prism is by adopting what is called a triple bottom line framework, or commonly known as TBL. TBL is not just a concept, it's a practical approach that helps businesses align social, environmental, and financial goals. TBL gives us a clear roadmap to prioritize sustainability while staying profitable, creating long-term value for our business and our communities. And the best part is companies that are using this TBL framework see a 4.4% higher ROI, really showing that doing good and doing well can go hand in hand. And I'd like to spend one more minute on the triple bottom line. So some of you may have already have an ESG program in place, and that's awesome, you should. But let's talk about how the triple bottom line differs from an ESG approach. While they both focus on sustainability, TBL offers a more targeted way to measure success across three key areas: people, planet, and profit, all of which work together to support one another. Profit is the easiest to quantify with benchmarks like revenue growth or ROI compared to the past years. Planet is measured through tangible metrics like emissions, waste, and energy use, while people focuses on factors like employee satisfaction, job creation, and the well-being of effective communities. It's really about breaking your sustainability goals down into more realistic, achievable components. Whereas an ESG strategy really measures success by considering a business environmental, social, and governance impacts. Rather than being a single concept, ESG measures each component separately, making it more challenging to evaluate performance and benchmark progress on sustainability when compared to TBL. But the good news is TBL and ESG don't have to compete with one another. They can complement each other. You can actually use both in a powerful way to balance business goals with meaningful impact. And finally, no shocker to anybody, experience is everything in event management. And as we look to 2025, creating those unforgettable, personalized experiences will be the ultimate strategy for standing out and delivering value. Here's a great quote from Sam Altman, of all people, the CEO of OpenAI, talking about the human experience. So I think there's going to be a premium on human, in-person, fantastic experiences. I love this because he's really talking about how people seek meaningful, immersive connections, and technology can actually be a lever in making that happen. From AI-driven personalization that curates tailored event journeys to virtual augmented reality tools that bring your space to life, technology enhances the experience without overshadowing the human touch. To truly deliver on this demand for fantastic in-person experiences, we need to focus on creating those unique tailored moments that resonate with each guest. Here, personalization really becomes key by using insights to customize every step of the journey. From pre-event planning to post-event follow-ups, we can ensure every attendee feels valued. It's about making every interaction count, enhancing engagement, and foster deeper connections that leave a lasting impression. When you deliver these personalized touches, you don't just host an event, you create an experience your guests won't forget. One example that I thought of, and I think it was last week, a great example of this was the recent keynote that Delta had at the Sphere in Las Vegas during CES. It's creating a ton of buzz. It was totally different from your normal corporate presentation. It's just thinking about outside the box and making your event and your venue really stand out. All right, and with that, that's our webinar today. To recap our webinar, I think we really just need to think about how to ultimately, sorry, I got distracted by my cat being crazy. So ultimately, to wrap things up, to future-proof your event management strategy, it's essential to focus on creating personalized, tech-enabled experiences that feel deeply human. When innovation meets genuine connection, you'll craft events where every guest feels uniquely valued and truly engaged. And as we look ahead, future-proofing your event strategy starts with embracing scalable technology that grows with you and eliminates friction across your organization. Building a strong foundation of trust and adaptability through balanced compliance ensures you're prepared for the unexpected, like a cat rolling in. Empowering and upskilling your teams with the right tools allows you to do more with less, keeping innovation and creativity at the forefront. Fourth, tackling sustainability with something like a triple bottom line framework can help you lead the charge in creating impactful, lasting change at your organization. And finally, never forget that experience is everything. When the playing field is equal, the way you make guests feel will always be your greatest differentiator. And with that, that is our webinar today. Any questions that have come in? I see there are some questions in the chat. All right, let me roll through these in a second. Is there any evidence that venues are using AI to set the optimum rates for their meeting rooms? So I think you're asking, is there a way that you can use AI to set the pricing for renting out the meeting rooms? Is that what we're asking? I'm not sure. Let me, maybe you can clarify that, Rob. Valerie, let's see. How do I get started with a TBL strategy? That's a really good question. So one way to do that is start by conducting a thorough assessment of your operations at your organization and think of ways that you can improve each area. So each area being the people, the profit, and the planet. interview your stakeholders, talk with employees, talk with customers and partners, and gather all those insights to build that strategy. The thing that's nice about TBL is that there's no real benchmark, which can also make it a bit challenging if you don't know where you want to go. But you can set your own measurable goals that are important to your organization. So maybe that's something like reducing your carbon emissions, or maybe you really want to focus on improving your community impact. You can integrate all that into your operations and track your progress using that TBL as a loose framework. Here at Prism, the way that we use TBL, we use, I think it's called the Green Business Benchmark Reporting, to align what we do to a more solid framework and reporting structure. But it's really up to the organization where they want to take it. Whereas ESG, you kind of have to fit into those little buckets. Rob, that's exactly what you mean. Okay, so that I know of, I don't know that any AI that exists yet that will do that, that will kind of meter the interests of your venue spaces and then give you a price. What would that, like, what's that called? Like, oh, there's a term for it. I can't remember it. But like almost like real-time pricing, right? Based on like the demand. That I don't know of. I'll have to look into that. That's a really good question. How will this impact venues, and what areas do you think they will need most to adapt? What specifically, Maria? What will impact venues? Maybe I can help. Oh, here's another question from Valerie. What places can I implement personalization in my event management strategy? So the great thing about personalization is you can really use it anywhere. You can use it, for me as a marketer, a really easy place to start is just in your marketing materials. And by personalization, I don't just mean like insert first name. I mean taking that data and really catering the content to the segments that matter the most. So you can start there. I think you can also from that point, maybe branch more, do more A/B testing, right? That's an easy way to see what works and see what doesn't work if you can. At events, you can use the data that you have to serve them customized agendas, maybe, right? Like if you know that they're a certain persona, you can send them on the different tracks. Things like that are just easy ways to get started doing that. So I think that's a great question. See, Maria didn't. The future of planning AI from a planner perspective. How do you think AI will impact venues? What area do you think they need to most adapt? Okay. For planners and what we're hearing here at Prism, so a lot of our audience started as planners and we're branching into venues with our tours and things like that. From that perspective, I think it's that scaling across teams is really important. I think everybody has, you know, all these teams are still very siloed. Marketing does their thing, then they hand it off to sales. The event sales team, they do their thing, right? And then, great, you booked an event at our venue, cool. Pass it on to the planner that may work for that venue, or maybe the planner is an independent planner. I think being able to kind of work together in one platform, or maybe some connected platforms that talk to one another, I think is really a way that everybody can improve and change, because there's still a lot of drop off, and that can make the customer experience a little rigid. So that, in my mind, it's bringing those teams together. And then from the customer perspective, using AI, I mean, AI is still evolving. It's still an unknown. Everyone's experimenting with it. Everybody's talking about it, right? But no one still really knows how to use it yet. I think with that, it's just not being scared to try new things with AI. It really depends on your objectives personally, because there's tons of different AI tools out there for like what you want to achieve. Like we all know ChatGPT does writing. Here we have things that will analyze your images and recommend things, right? So it's just trying to align those maybe objectives that are coming from higher up to use AI. How can that fit in to where you think can make the biggest impact for your organization? Okay. With that, I think that's it for questions. Mark, if you want to take it from here.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. I really appreciate you running us through all aspects of Prism. And I think what I'd like to just share, in addition to what I put into the chat, which was specifically around that question around AI for sales and marketing and revenue management, I dropped the link in. I have put the password in. Most of the people on the call today are IAC members, but for those of you who are not, there's a password in there. I'm very happy to share that report with you because there's some answers and providers in there. But what I would like to highlight is two things specifically. What we've seen within the IAC sphere of our conferences and events as it relates to our technology providers is just that importance that Vanessa touched on in relation to the interconnectivity between our technology solutions. Our clients, when they're meeting planners, want a one-stop shop, but they also, more importantly, want speed in terms of getting all of the answers into one place and to be able to manage their whole planning process. So it's really reassuring to see that interfacing across different solutions is part of what you do. And if anyone is attending the IAC America's Knowledge Exchange in College Station in March, Vanessa and Prism will not only be there, but there will be other providers as well, which are showing that interconnectivity, everything from door systems to information screens in meeting rooms as well. And it all boils down to what we're looking for, which is increased efficiency and reduction in staff time. So whether you're coming to the IAC Knowledge Exchange this spring or you're coming to the IAC Knowledge Festival, we really appreciate Prism being there and talking us through how you could approach this in a conference center environment. And on that note, as a close, it would be truly awesome if there are any case studies of working within the corporate or the commercial, smaller meeting and conference center environment. I know that you will have many examples of that. Valerie certainly will, and the team at Prism, because you work within the IAC community and have done for some years. It'd be great to see how today's platform is working in some of our conference center environments, and we'd be happy to share that with the IAC community as well. But no, thank you very much to Vanessa. Thank you to Prism for being a great partner for IAC. Thank you to all of you for joining our first webinar of this year. And there is a packed webinar program for the first 4 months of this year. So take a look, book it in. We're really pleased to be able to bring you these education sessions as a part of your value of membership, and looking forward to seeing everybody throughout the year at IAC events and on this platform. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Bye.